From my very boyhood, whenever I came in contact with a particular object, man, or place, it would sometimes appear to me as if I had been acquainted with it beforehand. But all my efforts to recollect were unsuccessful, and yet the impression persisted. I will give you an instance. One day I was discussing various topics with my friends at a particular place. Suddenly, something was said which at once reminded me that in some time past, in this very house, I had talked with these friends on that very subject, and that the discussion had even taken the same turn. Later on, I thought that it might be due to the law of transmigration, but soon I decided that such definite conclusions on the subject were not reasonable. Now I believe that before I was born, I must have had vision somehow of those subjects and people with whom I would have to come in contact in my present birth. Such memories have come every now and then throughout my life. Just 2 or 3 days before the entrance examination, I found it that I hardly knew anything of geometry. So I began to study the subject, keeping awake the whole night, and in 24 hours I mastered the 4 books of geometry. I studied hard for 12 years and became a graduate of Calcutta University. It so happened that I could understand an author without reading his books line by line. I could get the meaning by just reading the first and the last line of a paragraph. As this power developed, I found it unnecessary to read even the paragraphs. I could follow by reading only the first and the last line of a page. Further, where the author introduced discussions to explain a matter and it took him 4 or 5 or even more pages to clear the subject, I could grasp the whole trend of his arguments by only reading the first few lines. As soon as I went to bed, 2 idols appeared before me every night ever since I had reached my youth. One vision presented me as a person of endless wealth and property, innumerable servants and dependents, high rank and dignity, great pomp and power. I thought that I was seated at the head of those who were called big men in the world. I felt I certainly had the power to achieve this end. Again, the next moment, I felt as if I had given up everything of the world and was leading a life of renunciation, putting on a lion cloth, eating whatever was available without effort, spending nights under trees, and depending solely on God's will. I felt I could live the life of the rishis and the munis if I wanted. These two opposite pictures, according to which I could mold my life, thus arose in my mind, but the latter would grip the mind in the end. I thought that it was in the way alone that man could attain real bliss, and that I should follow this path and not the other. Brooding on the happiness of such a life, my mind would then merge in the contemplation of God and I would fall asleep. It is a matter of astonishment that this happened every night for a long time. I never terrified children by speaking of hobgoblins as I was afraid of uttering a falsehood and scold all whom I saw doing it. As a result of English education and my frequenting the Brahmo Samaj, the devotion to verbal expressions of truth increased so much then. At the beginning of the century, 19th, it was almost feared that religion was at an end. Under the tremendous sledgehammer blows of scientific research, old superstitions were crumbling away like masses of porcelain. Those to whom religion meant only a bundle of creeds and meaningless ceremonials were in despair. They were at their wits' end. Everything was slipping between their fingers. For a time, it seemed inevitable that the surging tide of agnosticism and materialism would sweep all before it. When I was a boy, this skepticism reached me, and it seemed for a time as if I must give up all hope of religion. But fortunately for me, I studied the Christian religion, the Mohammedan, the Buddhist, and other. And what was my surprise to find that the same foundation principles taught my religion were also taught by all religions. It appealed to me this way. What is the truth? I asked. When I was a boy here in the city of Calcutta, I used to go from place to place in search of religion, and everywhere I asked the lecturer after hearing very big lecture, "Have you seen God?" The man was taken aback at the idea of seeing God, and the only man who told me I have was Ramakrishna Paramhans, and not only so, but he said, "I will put you in the way of seeing him too."